Well, the Gamma performed with expected results. It flew fine today, in probably more than gusty winds than we wanted.
Yeah, which, in all fairness, what are most beginners going to do?
They're going to fly every time. As
soon as they build it, they're going to go out and fly.
Yep.
And they're not going to wait for the right day. They're not going to wait for the calm skies. So we took it out on a typical trainer, a typical beginner day, and fought the wind. But yeah, it did fine. I mean, it's going to come out in the 5x5 scoring. So let's go ahead and jump right into your build.
Will do, sir. Model characteristics, build as advertised. We gave it a 5 out of 5. This went together without a hitch. I don't foresee anybody having any problems. There isn't any areas of it that would make you scratch your head and say, gosh, do I need help with this? It's pretty straightforward, very straightforward. Finish, we gave it a 4 out of 5. Kurt?
Yeah, it's, as a foam platform, it's EPO foam, expanded polyolefin foam. They don't have a cool little kitschy name for it at Aries, but it's EPO foam. It's what we're grown used to in the foam models in general now. It's almost everything you see come out is EPO.
Yeah.
That's a build-up structured fuselage, especially with a build-up wing. It's durable. I mean, it's what it's designed for. It's meant to be a tough foam. So the landing gear is very springy. So it's going to be forgiving on a lot of those little situations that may scuff up or tear up the foam. And with it being an all-white plane,
and you don't have to worry about banging it up in the vehicle either. Stick it in the back seat.
An all-white plane, the nice thing is you don't notice any surface blemishes. So
exactly. All right, power. We gave it a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, there's a geared brushed. It's hard to say brushed. I'm so used to brushless. It's a geared brushed motor setup, power system, and it's more than ample on the power.
Yeah, it is.
It leaps right off the ground. You've got relatively low wing loading on the design as it is. It's a very light aircraft with the 1,000 milliamp battery in it. So right away it's going to be lofty. It's going to be a nice breezy flyer. So it jumps right off the ground. Now add to that a power plant that can definitely pull it into 55, 60 degree climb outs all day long.
Yeah.
And do loops and everything else you want to do with it, more than ample.
Yeah.
It's a good way to set it up too. If you go brushed motors and a gearbox, you're not loading that motor nearly as much because you're taking advantage of the gear reduction. So you can keep that prop spinning a little slower, increase the thrust a wee tad bit with the pitch, and you've got a nice solid kind of a tractor type. Well, it's a tractor. It's a puller. It's a tractor. It's a tractor. Good, strong, durable, run all day power plant. So I'd say it fits. And a lot of people are not going to be attracted to it because it's a brushed motor.
Yeah.
Everybody, see everything being brushless. And we won't go into the details now. We got the run times. We got the power performance we're looking for out of any platform this size, regardless of the type of motor.
The only reason this didn't score a 5 out of 5, and Kurt and I were talking about it, is because the power plant itself has kind of a unique. Not a glitch. There's a unique characteristic. There you go. That's a perfect way to put it.
A little bit of lag.
A little bit of lag. And what we mean by that is, if you power the motor up and you pull that stick right down, the motor doesn't immediately cut off.
Yep.
It cycles down a little bit.
It's not spool up. It could almost be attributed to a soft start, like you can set an ESC up for, but it's not a soft start.
No.
A soft start, once you get up to speed, it responds very quickly.
Yep.
This is just throughout the entire thing. It's a little bit of a delayed response in the power plant reaction to what you're doing with the sticks. Not a latency in the radio system by any means. I think I would attribute it just to that speed control. It's just the way the speed control is.
It's nothing to take away from the model itself. It's just something that you need to be aware of. It kind of throws you off. If you have any experience at all with RC, you're going to notice it right away.
Like, that took a second to come up. Or,
it's a little different.
It was probably less than a quarter of a second, but. In the air, did you notice it though?
Not in the air, I didn't.
When you're flying, you don't even notice it. No. So when you come in for a landing, if you're a little jumpy and you're dealing with some windy conditions, you might notice it.
Yeah, you could feel it a little bit, but when you're coming into a headwind and you're bucking and popping up and down and reacting to the wind, you're not really noticing it anyhow.
And maybe by design too, and that's something we'll try to get clarification from Aries on. But it's definitely not a malfunctioning ESC.
No, not at all.
Seems just to be the way the power plant's set up, which is probably beneficial for beginners.
Could be. Ground handling, we gave it a 4.5 out of 5. I noticed when I flew it that it taxis great. It handles fine on the ground. It turns where you want it to, when you want it to.
Like I mentioned before, very springy landing gear. So if you've got crosswinds or a windy day, it's going to want maybe a little wingtip on you as you come around the corner, which actually we did today when we were making our first turn.
Oh, you did. You have to clarify that. I didn't wingtip it at all.
Yeah, it'll be okay. I'll put some.
I did the side hop.
Purely cosmetic. Nothing structural. Purely cosmetic.
All right. Durability, 4.5 out of 5.
It goes back to our
Less than
ground
perfect.
handling. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is tough. It's very springy landing gear. It's gonna absorb a lot of the impact, and it's EPO foam and a banded wing. So it's worst case if you do a cartwheel, that usually helps out in terms of breaking some of that impact away in a non-destructive manner.
Exactly.
So you may walk up to your wing and it's a little crooked, but I'd rather have a crooked wing that I can straighten out than a broken mount. So.
Yep. All right, going into pilot experience, we'll start with flight as advertised. We gave it a 5 out of 5.
This is always the holy grail, isn't it? Flight as advertised.
Sure it is.
That's what it comes down to. We can talk about all other stuff. It comes down to the flight. That's really what matters.
And we pretty much talked about the flight quite a bit already.
We already did. We covered it in model characteristics. Let's move on. Flight time. Flight as advertised. It is very much a trainer.
Yeah.
It feels good coming off the ground. It pops right off the ground.
Yeah.
You're going to overfly it off the ground at first, like
you will.
Like I did.
But you don't have to. That's a nice thing.
No, just relax and let it lift itself off.
Yep.
Has enough wing incident in the position. The angle of attack with the landing gear, with it being a tail dragger, is always nice because you get some air into that main wing and it wants to lift off the ground without you having to fly it off the ground. It did a great job. The design itself is I can see where it can play well into a non-dihedral aerobatic wing from the way the tail responded. It didn't feel like it wanted to really bank too aggressively when you threw in a little bit of rudder, which is your aileron on a 3-channel. It handled it really well. Remained relatively flat considering the winds we had.
Yeah.
Overall, I was pleased with the flight, and I definitely put it in the trainer class. Is there anything in particular that stuck out in your mind?
I think what stuck out in my mind the most, and you kind of alluded to it just a second ago, was how well the tail did respond. Whenever you're flying in a windy condition with a 3-channel, the one thing you notice right away is, God, I wish I had ailerons.
You know what I could use the rudder like a traditional
rudder.
Like
but what I noticed with this is, and what happens a lot of times with the 3 channels, when you get a gust of wing, you get that tail lag and that sideways crab, and almost a vertical crab, if there's such a thing. This pulls you right back out of it.
Yeah, the tail picks itself up.
Exactly, and I really like that. I like that characteristic because it didn't feel like I had to let the plane fly through that lag to level itself out.
Or get in the power plant too much to pull it out of it.
You could easily pop that tail right back up and get yourself in a level attitude. So that stuck out with me.
Good trainer flight characteristics.
And ground handling as far as getting into ground effect. Yeah, I was impressed with how well it would cut a groove and hold itself, and you had a lot of control right down to the ground with that tail.
The thing I noticed is for beginners, that breakover point when you've just exhausted your last flare.
Yeah,
you've come through and you just burn everything out. You've lost all your airspeed, and you try to give a little more up elevator, and you're like, oh, it's all gone, and you do a nice stall landing, or a torque roll or whatever you're going to do as a beginner. That's all bad due to the loss of air over the wing. With this, I had the second and a third and a fourth flare that I could kick that tail or kick the nose up and just and pop a little elevator in there, and it would respond all the way down to what felt to me is too slow of a speed. So that's, I think, going to help. It's going to hurt a little bit at first, but it's going to help them out ultimately because they're going to be able to kind of 2, 3, 4 attempt that landing and not have to go around. Which is you're going to hit a point where it's the point of no return. You got to hit the ground. So
I agree.
I liked it. Had an interesting tail response. To me, if anything stood out, other than it being a stable trainer platform, is that tail was very responsive.
Gives you all the control you want when you need it, especially at ground level. Flight time 4 out of 5.
Yeah, with the brushed power plant setup, running a 2S 1000 milliamp LiPo. We actually have sitting on the bench a 1350 milliamp. When we did our setup and our testing at the field, test our CG, it was right at balanced CG. It was balanced. It was level balanced, and very easily, if we move the battery back to where it appeared directly below the battery hatch, it was almost a little tail heavy.
Yeah,
so
it was.
As a beginner, you want a little bit of forward CG. You want the nose to be a little bit heavy. You want it to angle down just about maybe 3 degrees, 3 degrees at the very minimum, just to be able to get a little easier flight characteristics. As the tail, as you level your CG out and you get tail heavy, you definitely want to go tail heavy. It's so easy to over control, and you get porpoising, and you get all these bad tendencies. There's some things in the air that I like about a tail heavy aircraft, which is just like, that's kind of fun. But typically, you never want to run like that at all, especially on a trainer. That's for more of an aerobatic type setup. So getting a little more capacity. We have a 1350 milliamp. We ran it with this, and we got even better balance out of the 1350 milliamp.
Shove it as far forward as it'll go.
Far as it'll go on the stock battery, and you'll get good run times. We had solid 6-7 minute run times off of this on a 1000 milliamp pack, considering it's 2S, which is good for this size of plane. And then even more with the 1350.
I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that even as windy as it was today, Kurt, we weren't on the throttle a whole lot. We were flying half or less.
In fact, I peeked over your shoulder when you were flying at the one time, and you were running about not quite just over a third throttle.
Yeah.
Is where you were hanging out, and he wasn't losing altitude.
No, not at all.
That breeze, so
not at all.
That's going to really drag those run times out a lot further too.
All right, field size. This is definitely a park flyer.
Yep, perfect park flyer. That's it.
That's it. No more needs to be said. It's a park flyer. Portability, 5 out of 5. The size kind of speaks for itself.
Yep.
It's a very good size to just throw in the back seat.
It is. It's perfect. It's small enough to fit in the back seat or behind the driver's seat of most cars if you got a little bit of space. So it's very, very portable.
Definitely. Skill level, it's a beginner.
Yep.
It's a beginner. There's no doubt. It's definitely a trainer. It flies like a trainer. It's got all the docile qualities that you want of a trainer.
Yep.
And it's an enjoyable experience, even with somebody that has experience that's way past the 3-channel trainer stage.
Yeah. As long as you can remember the rudder's not on the left side.
Well, yeah, some of us are past it. Some of us.
It's little stuff like that catches you off guard.
But it's a good beginner plane. I would definitely recommend this as a trainer.
Yep. Now make sure you keep an eye on the site. We're going to publish our product spotlight as well. We've received the upgraded aerobatic wing and also the brushless power plant.
Yes.
So we're going to go ahead and do a product spotlight on that, let you know how the platform performs. But if you'd like to see the full review on the RTF and the RFR version that we have on the bench here, go to our website at tubefly.com. For mobile users, you can go to rcflightsource.com, download the mobile app, and take all our reviews and content on the go, as well as some exclusive content like our field locator and our parts locator. I'm Kurt with Two Brothers Hobby.
And I'm Rob. Thanks for watching.